Hello, I'm Spurg, this is Pat, and welcome to the best motorcycle communication units of 2025.
Yeah, whether you're looking for Bluetooth or mesh, ride solo, or in big groups, we'll be presenting new options and old favorites to help you start your search. Now, Sena and Cardo are pretty much the top two brands, and both have a lot of solid options to consider.
This video is meant to be a top-level guide, so we're going to provide you with QR codes as well as links in the description below for our best of landing page, where you can find even more detailed information on all the communication units that we are going to discuss today.
Yeah, we're going to break this conversation down into 4 categories. First, we're going to have Bluetooth, then mesh, a budget option, as well as some wildcard picks at the end. So if you know what you're looking for, feel free to jump ahead using those video chapter markers.
So let's kick things off with the best Bluetooth comm units of 2025. And we're going to start the conversation with the Cardo FreeComm 4X. So this is going to be pretty much the top premium player before you get into the mesh units. This is coming in around the $260 price point, and it really is top of the line for the FreeComm Cardo setup.
Yeah, we've seen Cardo really push advances in a lot of areas. The biggest one for me is that they opened up their Bluetooth connectivity. You can connect any brand up to it. So I think if your friends ride with Sena, if you're riding with this one, you'll all be able to connect pretty easily nowadays.
For Bluetooth. We need to make that very clear. I like the fact that this is going to get you the JBL speaker upgrades, so it sounds really nice. I think another note for us to call out too right in the beginning is that no matter how good the speakers are, it does help to ride with earplugs, and then those speakers are sitting right against your ears, and it helps to keep everything nice and calm. Final note for this one is that this does bump you up into the natural voice technology, which is...
Natural voice is awesome. It basically piggybacks Siri or OK Google, that you can just tell your phone what you want it to do. Instead of them investing in shoddy systems out of their own gate, they just piggyback off of it, which is awesome because it gives you a feature that makes you basically hands-free while riding.
Don't have to use your hands. Well, you can use your hands to ride your motorcycle, but not to have to operate your comm system. Exactly. So up to 4 riders for connection for this one. And if you're looking at this and you're thinking, man, 260 still sounds a little steep, maybe you have some friends that are already riding with a Sena product, then Pat has an alternate option for you.
Yeah, and this is one that I absolutely love. I've had it for years. It's actually currently on my wife's helmet at this point, but this is the Sena 10R. And excuse the wiring throughout the video. We just mocked these up for the cameras here today. Now, the 10R used to be insanely popular. I started to wean, but I really don't understand why, just because you want something.
But it's still in the market.
Yeah, it's still out
like
there.
10 years on, and it's still a popular seller.
Yeah, and it's one of the slimmest, like most sleek units out there. I mean, it's really the size of maybe 2 stacked quarters because they've put the battery pack on the rear. So if you're looking for something that's streamlined but has all the similar features as the 4X, you can't go anywhere else really than the 10R. It's the only option out there.
Pat and I were discussing kind of our picks for this, and he described it as like an old faithful. You know, it was ahead of its time 10 years ago, and it's something that's still relevant today. Still connects up to 4 riders. Probably doesn't have the high-end fidelity speakers like the Cardo's going to have, but again, a little bit more of a basic approach with this one, and definitely one to consider. So that's going to wrap up our top picks for Bluetooth. Let's move on to our top picks for mesh technology, starting with the Cardo PackTalk Edge.
Yeah, and just so everybody knows, mesh technology, it's been around for about 6 or 7 years, but it's a much more stable connection. All of the units are actually constantly evaluating the connection and reorganizing to make sure they have the strongest one, whereas Bluetooth is typically a 1-to-1 connection, although both the PackTalk as well as our Sena pick are going to have some Bluetooth communications built in, as well as the mesh tech.
Yeah, so you can still use this to connect to a rider from maybe somebody using a pick from the first category. You just won't be able to go as many riders. That's the beauty of this. The Cardo PackTalk Edge, this is the 2nd generation dynamic mesh. This is up to 15 of your closest riding friends in a group, so you can just talk. The range is longer, and if somebody does get disconnected, they automatically reconnect. It's really a much more sophisticated technology. That's what you're spending the money for here. The money for this one is coming in around the $360 price point for a single unit. This one gets natural voice technology like we talked about earlier, so hey Sena, hey Google, and this one has the JBL speaker upgrade as well.
Yeah, and I've been using this one for the better part of 3 or 4 years, and there is the Pro out there that they just launched. If you want something with crash detection and you want to pay the extra coin for that unit, that's totally viable. It's out there, but I love the air mount system on the side of this. It's just as easy as finding it on the side. Like, that feature alone has been a lifesaver for me when we're out doing Get On Adventure Fest or off-road rides. I love the PackTalk Edge, and it's the one that I'm riding with every day.
So another one to consider as we wrap up the mesh category would be the Sena 60S. Now, this is a unit that is relatively brand new. It had a bit of a shaky start because the Wave app wasn't available yet, and it needed a firmware update. So the Wave app is available as of February, and The beauty of a firmware update is that these are all electronic devices. You should make sure you are regularly updating the firmware either way. But a lot of the complaints that we are hearing from riders right out of the gate have been resolved with the newest firmware as well as the launch of the Wave app.
Yeah, and I think when it comes down to any device out there, any electronic device, like a shaky start is kind of expected these days, but I do love the customizable side plates on the 60S. You can change out the sides. You get all the new technology. There's an LED light. I know you're an everyday carry kind of guy. And
I love LED lights. My God,
he gets a lot of flat tires, so plugging tires on the side of the road. You got a light on the side, and it even incorporated a magnetic style mount, just like we saw with the Cardo PackTalk Edge. So I really dig it. I think it's really customizable. It's a new edgy way of looking at it, but I think it had a shaky start with a lot of people, and that they didn't really get over that.
So this one's coming in around the $400 price point. The other note with Sena is that they're claiming an infinite level of connections.
Who knows that many people?
I'm limited because I only have 15 friends. Pat, he's got unlimited friends.
Yeah.
So he's looking at the Sena thinking, oh, I can talk to everybody at one time.
Yeah, everybody in the same room just shouting directions while you're out on a ride. But you get as many as you need, and if you want to go private, it actually reduces it down to about like 20, I believe. So you get a smaller group. But again, if you want to test the infinite spectrum of how many people you know and want to ride with, this is definitely an option to consider.
So mesh is the most premium category out there, and with premium comes price. So let's shift gears for a second and talk about budget units. And we're going to start by talking about the Sena 5S. Both the units we're going to talk about in this category are going to be sub that $150 mark. This is coming in around $140.
Yeah, so you're looking at a Bluetooth-only system, which makes sense at this price point. It's going to be only Bluetooth comms, and it's going to be up to 2 riders, so you and a passenger, or you and a riding buddy that's riding real close next to you.
And we say close next to you because the range for this one is going to be around a little bit less than half a mile for this one. The other note here too is it's really important that if you already have a riding buddy that's using a Sena or a Cardo, you're going to want to go with the option that they already have because compatibility is going to be really important with the budget category. And because of that, let's check out the Cardo Spirit.
Yeah, so this is going to be our most budget-friendly option in the entire line, coming in at $95, which really goes head-to-head with those no-name brand options out there on the market. But with $95, for a couple bucks more, you can get into one of the top 2 brands on the market.
So this is Bluetooth only, up to 2 riders, only a quarter mile of range. And the one thing that I will call out is that if you are someone that is really just looking for a basic unit, you just want to listen to music, or maybe you want a little bit of a better audio experience for talking to a passenger, there is an HD option. You can bump up around $60 in price and go with the Spirit HD. That gets you higher quality 40mm speakers. But if that's not a concern for you, again, sub $100, the Spirit is going to round out the budget category. All right, let's move on to our last category, which is some wildcard picks. And really what we tried to do here was grab 2 units that really don't fit in a different category unto themselves. So this is the Sena 50C around the $550 mark.
Yeah, and the unique aspect of the 50C is that it has a full 4K camera built into it, but you're also getting the 50S technology inside of it as well. So you get the ability to maybe motovlog if you're doing that without having to add a big GoPro on the front and a unit on the side, or just use it for insurance purposes.
And that saves you some cost too. The price of a GoPro is definitely going to be higher than a 50S with this baked in. That being said, the camera quality in this isn't quite the same as a GoPro, so this is definitely for people out there that are interested in maybe motovlogging or just capturing your ride for insurance purposes, or just because you want to go back and you want to show your friends exactly how much fun motorcycling can be. This is an option for you to consider that really, if you are looking for a built-in camera, there's not anything else out there like this.
And our next one up for unique is going to be the Sena Spiders line, which is going to be mesh only, but you get to save a hell of a lot of coin coming in at the $220 price point.
So we talked earlier about the mesh category being the most premium category. Well, those are units that you can use for Bluetooth. They're units you can use for mesh. This is something at the $220 price point. Really, you can only compatibly match up with other riders that are having a mesh unit. Now, you can still connect to your phone via a Bluetooth connection, but you can't connect rider to rider. So for people that are interested in having a larger pack of riders, this is one that you can consider.
Yeah, and if you're looking at all your friends say have a 50S, a 50C like we just talked about, or the new 60 series, you can go ahead and grab this and almost cut those prices in half, and you get the same compatibility with those riders.
The one note here is that you can't use this really with a Cardo unit. You have to use this with other Sena riders, so just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
So there you have it. our favorite picks for motorcycle communication units of 2025.
And remember, if you want more information on any of the communicators we talked about today, you can check out the links in the description to watch detailed breakdowns or read more over on our Best of Communists page.
Now, we're also going to have you covered in other categories as well, with a full line of best of motorcycle gear guides, so that's going to be there for you. However, if you would prefer to talk to someone in real life about what gear is right for you and your riding style, our customer service team is here to help. They are all riders dedicated to make sure that you get the best motorcycle gear for your riding style as well as for your budget.
So for myself, for Mike, Chase, and Alyssa behind the camera, as well as our unique little Wildcard Spurgeon here, we want to thank you for hanging out with us for our Best of Motorcycle Comm Units of 2025. I'm Pat, and I'll see you in the next video.
Enjoy the ride.